He would often turn up unannounced at her house.
I've done nothing wrong, and if you think I have, there's more to come. And those words still haunt me now.
When Molly got back to her car, she didn't notice Josh waiting inside his dad's car with a bag containing 2 knives and a pickaxe that he had bought earlier at the store. Breakups are a part of life, and however painful they may be, we eventually learn to move on. But what happens when someone you've broken up with refuses to accept it? Let's dive into the case of the obsessed stalker who s***ed a girl 75 times just for breaking up with him. Molly McLaren was the daughter of Joanne and Doug McLaren. She was described as beautiful, outgoing, and the life of the party. She always had a smile on her face and was always enthusiastic about everything. Her friends said that whenever they were feeling down, Molly would just come in and tell them a joke that would brighten up their day. At 23 years old, Molly had her whole life ahead of her. She was in her second year at the University of Kent, England, pursuing a degree in health and fitness. Having grown up with an eating disorder and anxiety issues, Molly was determined to leave all that behind her and focus on the positive things in life. She even set up a fitness blog where she talked about her issues and shared her fitness journey. Since she was busy juggling between her studies, part-time, and friends, Molly had no time for dating, so she turned to Tinder to find her perfect man. And in the summer of 2016, she got a match. A 26-year-old warehouse worker by the name of Joshua Stimpson, or Josh for short. But that split-second decision to swipe right would later cost her her life. Like Molly, Josh also struggled with anxiety and bulimia, so the two bonded over that. Josh also confided in Molly that he had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder after his parents divorced when he was little. When Molly later told her mom about this, Joanne was a bit concerned, since Molly already had her own issues and could easily get overwhelmed with someone else's. She tried talking to her daughter about this, asking her if she would be able to handle other people's issues, and Molly reportedly told her, "We could help each other." Molly and Josh chatted for 3 months before finally deciding to meet up. And when they did, they became inseparable, always spending all of their free time together. Josh was Molly's first real boyfriend, and she felt that he understood her since they were both struggling with the same things. But she had no idea the nightmare that was about to befall her. A few months into the relationship, Molly's friends and family noticed that Josh was always hanging out with her. Whether she was going out with her girlfriends or meeting her family, he would always tag along, even without being invited. It seemed cute at first, but then it just got creepy and obsessive. He didn't have any friends of his own, and he wanted Molly all to himself. He even tried to turn Molly against her friends. In the documentary series called Killed by My Stalker, Molly's friends said that Josh would not even give Molly some space to herself and would always be there, even when she was trying to study for her exams.
If she wanted to have a day of studying, he would tell her that he needed to be there for her, and was very manipulative in his approach for them to spend time together. He would often turn up unannounced at her house.
Molly was getting overwhelmed with all of this attention from Josh, and she even told her friends that she felt suffocated in the relationship. The pressure was just too much for her, and she feared that it might trigger her old issues back. She told him that they needed some space from each other. But Josh completely refused to accept this decision and manipulated her into taking him back, telling her that she was unhappy with everything and not just him. He even suggested that she sees a doctor about her mental problems. So, thinking that maybe she had overreacted, Molly agreed to take him back. And then one day at a party to celebrate Molly's aunt's 60th birthday, Josh's true colors finally came out for all to see. According to Molly's mom, Joanne, Molly was having fun, dancing with her cousins, and Josh was staring at her with this look, as if to say, "Come and sit back down. I don't want you dancing." After the party was over and everyone had gone to bed, Joanne received a chilling text from Molly, telling her to come over to the room that she was sharing with Josh. The two had been fighting, and Josh had started recording what Molly was saying to use as leverage against her. When Molly's mom got there, he tried to show her the recording, and that's when Joanne realized that something was wrong with him. It was also the final straw for Molly, who told her mom that she didn't feel the same way for Josh anymore and wanted to break up with him. A few days later, while on a night out with friends, Josh started acting up again, and Molly pulled him aside and told him it was over. Of course, Josh could not accept it, and he bombarded her with messages telling her he was sorry and to give him another chance. But this time around, Molly was not moved, and she refused to take him back. When Josh saw that his tactics had failed, he began harassing Molly on social media. He created really demeaning posts about Molly, saying that she was an addict who used illegal substances, and then went ahead to tag her parents to see. This harassment went on for days. Molly started worrying that Josh might show up at her house and hurt her. She told her parents about it, and they advised her to go to the police. Her mom even went with her to report Josh. While there, the officers called Josh on his phone and warned him that he'll get arrested if he didn't stop harassing Molly. Molly's mom would later say in an interview that Josh's voice was cool and collected while talking to the police, and that he said something that would haunt her for a long time.
They made the phone call. He was very cool, very calm, very collected. In fact, came across quite cold. And the police told him that he must stop what he's doing. If he didn't stop, they would have to come and arrest him. And he just kept saying, repeating, "I've done nothing wrong. I've done nothing wrong. And if you think I have, there's more to come." And those words still haunt me now.
The police checked their records and found that Josh had no priors, so they just told Molly and her family and friends to block him on social media and report any further abuse. A few days later, Molly decided to go out with her friends, and thinking that Josh could no longer see her posts because she had blocked him, she posted on Snapchat that she was going for a night out at a local restaurant. Minutes later, while enjoying her evening with friends, guess who showed up? Josh. He was accompanied by another woman, pretending that they were on a date. Molly thought that it was a coincidence and tried to ignore him, but he kept going back and forth near where she and her friends were having dinner. Molly got so uncomfortable and decided to go home. It later emerged that Josh had been using another woman to spy on Molly. Apparently, this lady, who he also met on Tinder, would stalk Molly on social media and then report her findings to Josh. At one point, Molly came to know about it and blocked her, but the lady somehow managed to still see what Molly was posting. She even showed Josh how he could view Molly's Snapchat stories without her knowing. When this lady was later asked why she agreed to help Josh stalk Molly, she replied, "It's just kind of normal for our sort of age group to do that. I have a lot of friends break up, and if they have social media, it's intriguing to know what they are up to. I have done it myself." And I get it, but her actions did make it easier for Josh to carry out his heinous plan against Molly. The next day was June 29th, 2017, 11 days after the breakup. Molly decided to go to the gym early in the morning to record a video for her fitness blog. As she was busy working out, she was horrified to see Josh entering the gym. The CCTV cameras in the gym captured Josh going up and down the stairs before finally entering the gym where Molly was working out. He went and set his mat near Molly and started exercising. Molly stared at him in confusion, wondering what he was doing there. She then gathered up some courage and went up to speak to him, asking why he was not at work. Josh just stared back at her and told her that it was none of her business. Molly then texted her mom telling her that Josh was at the gym. Her mom immediately told her to leave the gym and come back home. Molly also texted one of her friends who told her the same thing that her mom did. She also asked Molly whether she had posted her location on social media, like she had done the previous evening, but Molly said she hadn't. Molly, WTF, he just turned up and come right next to me. Friend, did you Snapchat that you were there? Molly, no. literally haven't put anything. Friend, any indication you could have been there at all? Last night, now today? It's starting to look dodgy. At that moment, Josh rolled up his mat and left. Molly waited for a while until she was sure that Josh had gone. Then she made her way to her car. She sent another text to her friend saying, "I feel like I'm looking over my shoulder all the time." That was the last text that she would ever send. When Molly got back to her car, she didn't notice Josh waiting inside his dad's car with a bag containing 2 knives and a pickaxe that he had bought earlier at the store. Once Molly was in the driver's seat, Josh jumped out of his car and yanked open her door and started violently attacking her. Molly tried fighting him off, screaming and beeping her car, but he overpowered her and continued his frenzied attack, even getting her throat in the process. People at the parking lot watched in horror, and one man even tried to stop him by pulling at his leg, but the leg was covered in and so it just slipped off. Molly died within minutes of the attack, with over 75 jab wounds all over her body. When the police arrived, they found Josh still at the scene, covered in blood. CCTV cameras at the place actually captured his arrest. But despite the fact that there were witnesses and evidence against him, Josh actually pleaded not guilty to the murder on grounds of diminished responsibility. He claimed that he had a borderline personality disorder and that he didn't remember anything about the attack. He admitted to manslaughter instead. However, during his trial, it was revealed that Josh actually had a history of stalking and acting violent towards women. 2 of his ex-girlfriends even took the stand and told the court how he had harassed and threatened them after they broke up with him. One of the exes said that Josh would follow and take pictures of her, asking why she was wearing certain clothes, and that he once even sent her a picture of her backyard and threatened to fly over to where she was taking her vacation and drown her. The other girl said that Josh had spat drink all over her at a nightclub after they split up, and then waited outside for hours for her to leave. The jury dismissed his plea of diminished responsibility and found him guilty of murder in February 2018. He was later sentenced to life in prison and must serve at least 26 years.
The verdict has brought us a small measure of comfort, but it seems that nothing will take away the pain or allow us to come to terms with our Molly being taken from us. We are serving a lifetime of pain, anguish and loss.
Following Molly's death, her family and friends decided to set up the Molly McLaren Foundation to raise awareness of eating disorders and raise money for charities that support people suffering from the same. What do you think about this case? What would you have done in Molly's situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.